we have to analyze. Me, I go tell you a little something about white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them a telling of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. Them come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. I will tell you a little truth about the black histories for the people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy, to analyze the truth about the body. We're the first to come up with biology, to analyze the lives in the society. We're the first to come up with Egyptology, to construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology, to analyze the minds in the vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology, to put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah, say we have to analyze it. Black and white story in my mind, in my mind. We black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah, say we have to analyze it. Me, I go tell you a little something about white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them, I tell enough of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come out of the mountains and mix up the sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Me, I will tell you a little truth about the black history. It's for the people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy, to analyze the truth about the way body. We're the first to come up with biology, to analyze the life in our society. We're the first to come up with Egyptology, to construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology, to analyze the minds in the vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology, to put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Black and white story in my mind. Yeah.
Greetings, one and all. Greetings, one and all. Greetings, one and all. And before I bring on one of the new co-hosts, just got to make sure everybody is in the building. Remember, we are broadcasting on multiple streams. We are on Twitter at King Simon Prod. We're at King Simon Productions on the fan page, and we're also on King Simon on Facebook also. So, of course, the song you just heard was Black and White Story by myself, and that particular song is about to turn into a children's book. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I want to thank all the people that gave me a well-deserved round of applause. And just want to remind everybody that this is a show that has content disclaimer going on. That's right. We're going to be bringing on our guest at 9 o'clock so she could relax. She's staying backstage until 9 o'clock. It is 15 minutes before the hour. But all my shows have a content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guests, Speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters or its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Of course, you got to always cover your backside. Pause. You got to cover it. You got to cover it. You know what I'm saying? I am a well known radio personality for many years, and I've been doing a lot of things. So, first, let's build some of the sponsors that are here with us before we show our beautiful faces. And this sponsor is Janelle Lewis. Now, Janelle Lewis is a licensed real estate person. That's right. She's a licensed real estate salesperson. And you can contact her at 347-866-1153. That's 347-866-1153. And tell her that KSP King Simon referred you, or the King Simon or KSP family referred you. So big up to her all the time. And let's go to another sponsor here with us. Now, this is a beautiful sponsor. She is a natural gynecologist. She sells some great products on her website. That's right. It's called pedalwise.com. She's also an acupuncturist. She's a natural gynecologist. She's a massage therapist. She's a product creator. So, and if you want to get 10% off, that's right, if you want to save 10%, this is the coupon code KING2020. That's KING2020 at www.pedalwise.com. That's www.pedalwise.com. So enough respect to Pedalwise, the whole crew over there in Florida and between Florida and Maryland. Big up to the Pedalwise. They got a big team, man. They got a big team. So big up to Pedalwise all the time. And let's big up the people that's coming up. Yes, let's big up the people that's coming up next on our show. Oh, yes, I have a very special show coming up. And I want to remind everybody, next on King Simon Presents on Sunday, August the 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Dr. Iris Latham. If you don't know who Dr. Iris Latham is, he is the raw foodist that invented his own brand of food called Sunfire. You know why he called it Sunfire? Because all of the food was cooked by the sun. Whether it's plantain, whether it's coconut, whether it's a grape, it is what it is. So big up to Dr. Iris Latham. He'll be coming up with us on, and then on August the 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got Sultan Asir, the Duke of Tears, will be in the building. Will be in the building with Selena and Empress of 10,000 Years. And then on Sunday, August the 16th, we have educator and comedian Sync from out of the Apollo Theater. Done numerous things. And I'll be coming up, I'll be bringing up my my co-host in a few seconds. Want to make sure everything is all right. Let me just run through these sponsors and keeping it moving and do what we got to do first and foremost. And just want to remind everyone, those who want to purchase my book, yes, my new book is called a pre-order of my new book is called Numerovation for Mental Stability. Price is $39.99. It was $40.40. But I said, you know what? Let me call it $39.99. You're still gonna, it is what it is. You're gonna pay taxes anyway. I know how what you call it, PayPal do. So paypal.me/the Numerovator. Please include your full name and mailing address in the PayPal notes section. So that's going to be very, very important for all of our people, those that are suffering from mental illness or mental issues. I'm just going to reveal certain things through the numbers. That's how I work. All right. And those who want to do a Numerovation session with me, please text me your full name, date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. My books are available on Amazon and Kindle, and that's Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. That's one of the books. And then another one is Numbers Are Simple, Our Children's Health is Important. And then my other book is No Promotion is Bad Promotion, and All Publicity is Good Publicity. Just spell my name right. So before I do anything, let me get ready to bring on my co-host for the first time right here on King Simon Presents. Not only is she a great person, she is also a spiritual, for spiritual upliftment and self-esteem consultation. We have the one, the only Empress, Aisha Amor, coming in. Let me give her a well-deserved round of applause right now as we bring her in the building. What's up, Aisha? How you doing, girl?
That's amazing. Thank you.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm here sound like crazy Wendy Williams. That's right. How you feeling? Everything all right?
Yes, yes, yes. Glad to be here. Yes.
Okay, good, 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 good. Now, uh, can you hear me clearly over there? Can you hear me clearly?
Hear you clearly. Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, make sure there's no delay and all that kind of stuff. If not, you might have to put on your headphones so we could get it clear up. You know what I'm saying? Just in case. All right.
Oh,
So,
I'm gonna have to pause for that one. Okay.
oh, okay, no problem. Okay. Well, of course, this is your first time being on this particular podcast here, and of course, like I said, you are for the audience who don't know you. Before we bring up our dear guest, Leah Lee, in the next 9 minutes. Those who don't know, you're spiritual upliftment. You do spiritual upliftment and self-esteem consultation. Explain to the people real quick: who are you? What are you? And what are you doing?
What am I doing? And all the goody good goods. Well, my name is Aisha Amor, Empress Aisha Amor. That is my name. That is my affirmation as well. And what I do is that if you need any type of upliftment, you need somebody to inspire you. I'm the person. I uplift you more like a friend, not like a therapist. It's more like a sister. If you're like a brother, I'm more like your sister. You are a female, I'm more like your sister, or I come to you with a mother's energy. But that's just how I operate. I operate organically. I tap into my spiritual side. I tap into the voice within, and I listen to that voice, and I will just let you know what's being told to me to assist you. And
Right,
that's how I
right, and she's real good, family. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that she's real good. She's real good at what she does. She's not
yeah.
playing with what she does. I gotta give her kudos for that. Because some people they act like they act like a broke down Miss Cleo, and they don't know what they do. So I'll be like, okay, y'all messing up. But it's a wonderful thing. So, well, I'm glad to have you as a co-host to see how this thing works and how it gels. To
Right?
to, to, off- to offset some of my energy because my energy can be out there. I'm full of energy, so it is what it is.
But that's good. Sometimes I'm too laid back, so that this is a balance. This is great. This will work.
That's good. That's good. And there's so much going on. There's a lot of great things that are going on, but there's a lot of things that's going on around the world that we need to really recognize and keep the prayers and the meditation up, and also taking care of our health because I know you're also a mother and also and you're very in tune with your own children. So and what would you have to say to the world today and what they need to do as far as spiritually what they should do first and foremost if they're feeling depressed or they need a little upliftment? What would you tell them to do?
I say first thing comes to my mind is get quiet. Get real
Mm,
quiet on yourself. Settle down. Calm down on your thinking and just observe yourself from within. Observe yourself. This
mm,
is one of those questions where I really literally have to just kind of like mellow my own energy down and just meditate on this as well to just give you the correct answer. But just
right.
like right now, I would say really get quiet. The world
Mm,
is not against you. If you're having those moments where you're down and you're feeling like you're overwhelmed, that means that you need to tap into your spiritual side. That means you need to stop and meditate. And meditate don't always mean that you need to sit and just go, Sometimes meditating is
right.
you just having a conversation with yourself, with the creator from within. Just have that moment. Just express to the universe, to the most high, what you're going through. Communicate.
Mm,
That's what life that's like any relationship. Communication is key. So if you know how to
mm,
communicate to the universe, to the most
mm,
high, and just let the most high know. And then when you do that, release that energy out, and then you just you visualize where you want to go, what you want, so that the
right.
universe, the most high, knows how to assist you, knows what you are trying to attract into your life, or not what you're trying to
Beautiful,
attract, what you are. So that's
beautiful,
that.
beautiful. All right. Well, keep it simple. Keep it simple. They could do a consultation with you. If you want a spiritual upliftment self-esteem consultation, you know Empress Aisha Amor. Email is empressaishaamor@gmail. Products, you could DM her at @1million_adornments. You have some excellent products on her website, on her IG. And also, if you want to send her some Cash App love gift, you may do so. $ Empress Amor or PayPal Aisha McBride @gmail.com. So what I need you to do now is read before we bring on our sister. I need you to read the mission statement that they have on her website, and
Yes,
then
yes,
I'll read her bio. So let's get ready to bring her on right now.
yes. I'm excited to meet her. Woo, let's read her. Let's see her mission statement. Okay, let me know when you're ready for me to read this mission statement.
Man, do your thing. Do it now.
This is our mission statement. This is Sister Leah's mission statement. Okay, with your help, right, we'll be able to go beyond the frontiers and help everyone who is searching for answers as to who they are and where they come from. That's pretty deep. We need to know this stuff. Solving many cases per year to reunite biological families. That's their mission. They want to reunite you with your biological family around the globe. So there you go.
Mm. And you know, we're going to put on because her bio is now Leah Lee has been a member of the ancestry since 2005, but had a passion for genealogy since 1997. Leah would help people to build their trees and had a niche for it, and she started as a volunteer as an indexer for FamilySearch.org and later for Ancestry.com. Over 20 years ago, and Ancestry began selling DNA kits. She was gifted with the natural ability to read the DNA matches and help others with over 100 or over hundreds of reunions to date, some even making local news. Let's welcome on our stage the one, the only Leah Lee in the building. Let's give her a well-deserved round of applause and bring her in. Where's my
Oh,
sister
thank
at? What's
you.
up, Leah?
Hi, how you doing today? Greetings, greetings. How are you doing today?
Greetings. I just want to make sure I give you a good, well-deserved round of applause. How you feeling?
I feel great. I can't complain. I feel great.
Well, introduce yourself. Go ahead, Empress. You got Leah here. Say hi to her.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Leah, how are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm blessed.
Yes,
Good.
yes, yes. All right, let's
You know,
go.
first let me take care of some of the business, Leah. Hold on 1 second. Let me take care of some
Okay.
business. Let me take your business here. We'll make sure everything is all right for you. Now, look here. Of course, to contact Miss Leah Lee and to send a love gift donation to her beautiful website, www.birthfamilysearch.org. Or you could do it through that website, or you could send PayPal at admin@birthfamilysearch.org. And her IG, you can contact them by at birth_family_search and FB group and FB. That's Birth Family Search. The search angel is in the building with us right now, and I'm honored to have you.
I'm honored to
How's
be
the family?
here. I'm honored to be with you. Everyone is doing great. I have to admit, I'm happy. My oldest just graduated college, and my youngest is 5 years old and driving me crazy. So it's a
Woo,
big
let me
gap
give that a
between
round
them,
of
but
applause.
I'm
Give that
blessed.
a round of applause. Give all of that a round. As long as they're driving you crazy and graduating out of school, that's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing.
I'm good. Right. I'm doing good. Right.
Congratulations to you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I know you're doing wonderful work in the community, and
Yes.
people want to know. I know other than what we read in her bio, who is Leah Lee, and why did she decide to go down that route of dealing with genealogy and genetics and all that kind of stuff? Please.
Okay. Leah Lee, I'll say for me, I'm the type of person, I am an avid researcher. I will look for any information that's going to lead me to, I always say there's unlimited type of information out there. So I'm the type of person who will look for information no matter what. When I started doing
Mhm.
family trees for people, it was the first person I started doing a family tree for was for my mother. She didn't know too much about her mother's side of the family. And so we took a big paper bag and we literally drew the family tree and we kept working on it. And back then it was a software, like you would put the software in your computer. It was a CD. You put it in your in your computer and it uploads all these types of documents. Of course, you had to pay for it. And then that's where I pretty much started my passion, because I realized, you know, if my mother was looking for all this information, then I wonder how many people out here don't know too much about their ancestral line. I mean, she was able to go as far up as her great grandmother, on her mother's side, but not too much on her father's side. And so that's when my journey began.
Wow, that's a powerful thing, my sister. I'm so proud that you was able to do that. And how did your mother react when you did what you did for her?
Well, years later, she later found her father, who she hadn't seen in years. And I'll say, you know, a lot of times she has access to my ancestry. So she sees the updates and she see when I add new people. And, you know, her family is originally from the Shinnecock Reservation in Long Island. So we was able to, you know, go back, research information on that and, you know, just pretty much go back as far as possible. You know, of course, being limited with information. But we were, I mean, as you can see, my background, those are all my ancestors that had passed on. So, I mean, I've gone all the way up to 1786.
What?
For the oldest one, yes. So that's going up to my 6th great grandfather. And as you can see, I have pictures as well. It's not just the ones that you see the little sticky notes for. Those are still a work in progress on getting their photos. So yeah, it's still a work in progress. Or at least, this one. Yeah.
What? That is so powerful.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I wish you could show some close-up. That would be so cool. Like,
I'm sorry?
I'd love to see some close-up. That is so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Please. Oh my goodness.
We're going to do a close-up. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Let me see. I don't know how my cord is plugged in.
Okay.
But as you can see, that is William H. Piper, born April 12th, 1786, and he died June 12th, 1870. His wife was Amelia Johnson, born April 11th, 1796, and she died March 11th, 1856.
Whoa. Amazing.
Oh man, I can tell those two were something else. They two Aries, that was something else.
They were serious. They had a lot to do with freeing slaves. And so that's why the pictures of them is around, because they actually put a museum of them, I guess, for people to find out more information on them and, you know, research their history. But surprisingly enough, it was a lot of information about them that made it a little bit easier for me to research once I was able to connect the dots through DNA.
That is amazing. Question: how did that change you? Like, did it change you?
Yes, it did. I always tell people the funny thing about me is, you know, you kind of go through life and you kind of wonder, it's always been me. Did my ancestors walk on these same streets I'm walking on, or what were they? You know, what influenced me to be what I want to be in my life? The funny thing about it is you realize that for a while I did hair. Why? I have no clue. But the further I went on in life and started doing more research in my family tree, I realized I had beauticians. And why was I doing hair? I'm not interested in it. I did it for a little while, but I was over it quick, you know. But sometimes you realize that you kind of walk in the footsteps of your ancestors, you know.
That's amazing. That's pretty deep. I'm sorry, but I'm like, but what I'm saying is, like, what I need to know, like, how did it change you, like, and spiritually? Like, how did it change you, like, how you see the world now? Like, you hear what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
How did
I'll say it taught me that it's more important to know where you come from, because digging your roots kind of teach you a little bit more about you as far as your characteristic, you know, where your family are from originally. And it kind of led me on this path to want to help more people to know where they came from and to know more about their history. Because I mean, for most that know me, my road as a teenager was probably crazy. But as I got older and started knowing more about myself, it was more of a light bulb that kind of went off in my head, you know. And I always tell people, as crazy as it sounds, that little voice in my head that I hear, I usually know when it's my ancestors versus me talking to myself.
Okay.
Because it's like, I feel like I've now made that connection with them to the point where now I can communicate with them.
Whoa.
Because I always tell people, when you don't know who you are and you don't know where you come from, when, you know, or a lot of times it's Christians, because most of them, they're like, what are you talking about? I always tell them it's like, you know, having that kind of phone line that's cut. You know, you're talking to somebody, but it's no connection. Once you know who they are, you know, you're able to call on them by name. You know, it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. And I always tell people the interesting situation was my mother's grandfather was a truck driver. And I used to always travel the roads. And it's been times I probably should not be sitting here. But before I traveled on those long trips, I used to always call on his name and tell him, I know you traveled this road, protect me, you know, be here, guide me. I kid you not, I should not be here.
Wow. That's,
Mm.
I've never heard that.
Tune in. I want to make sure everybody is that's tuning in. Please, please, please share this video. Share this video, because you might have loved ones that might need this beautiful sister services. And I want to make sure that the more you share, the more you build the algorithms. Also, family, we're broadcasting on Twitter. We're broadcasting on Facebook at King Simon, Facebook at King Simon Productions, and we are broadcasting on YouTube. And we have beautiful Leah Lee, or Leah Lee in the building. Now, you know, the question I have to ask is about the necessity to connect with their genes or their ancestry, because a lot of people, some people don't even want to do that connection. You know, a lot of people are afraid of that connection. Now,
Right.
tell us about those stories and how people are afraid to connect.
So the most thing that I hear people say is, oh, they're going to share my DNA. And I'm like, believe me, they already have your DNA. They have everyone's DNA. So although I tested on Ancestry, I have tested my mother on Ancestry. So if they wanted my DNA, one of my 10th cousins have already tested. Believe that. I guarantee anybody, when you test on Ancestry, you will have a third cousin match or closer, which means that they also have your DNA because you all share the same great ancestors. So I always tell people, if you don't, I mean, I recommend it, but yet it's always up to everybody. You know, they have a platform called gedmatch.com. Now, gedmatch.com is a universal platform where anybody who tested on Ancestry, DNA, 23andMe, MyHeritage, Family Tree DNA, any of the many different sites, you can upload your DNA results. But once you upload your DNA results, you opt in for law enforcement. And what that means is you opt in for law enforcement to be able to match your DNA with victims that are Jane or John Doe's, if they're looking for a particular person who might have passed away with no identity, or in cases where, and that's where, you know, forensic genealogist pretty much comes in. And then you also have it where, let's say one of your fifth or sixth cousins might have committed a crime and left DNA samples. They will match that DNA, build your family tree based off of all of your many matches, because trust me, you won't be the only person matching. And that's how they figure out who committed the crime. Now, this is the same example with the Golden State Killer. They built his family tree based off of a second cousin. And the minute he, you know, drank something from a cup and dropped it in the trash, they used that DNA to compare to the sample that they had. And sure enough, that's how they incriminated him.
Wow. I'm sitting here trying to share this right now.
Yeah, so when I tell you the powers of DNA, I mean, I always tell people, if you committed a crime, don't upload to GEDmatch, but you will still get caught eventually. They have thousands of samples that just kind of sits out there that are just waiting to be tested.
Mm. Wow. And you did you have a question, Empress?
I'm blown away right now. Just give me a moment to process. I mean, deep.
Process.
Expecting. Yeah.
You know,
let me process.
But see, I get a
now,
lot of people who tell me, well, it can't be real, or there's just for novelty. Well, then explain to me how I'm able to help adoptees find their biological families. You're telling me that all this is fake, you know, you don't know who sampled. And I always tell people, you know, when you upload your DNA sample, you know what? Just shoot a name in the dark. Just put Jane Doe and just see who comes up as your close matches. And if your cousins come up, then tell me why is this, tell me how it's still fake. And I mean, this year alone, I've reunited 28 families. That's just this year. And I mean, we're already at August. I shoot for a goal every year of 50. And when I tell you I reunite them, I don't just tell them who their family is and keep it moving. No, sometimes it takes me reaching out to those family members, because sometimes that's the hardest part for those adoptees. Most of them deal with the first part of abandonment. And then the second part of abandonment is you reach out to those families and they literally tell you, I don't want to have anything to do with them. That's the second part of abandonment that most of them have to deal with. And so they kind of sit out there and they're like, well, I'm looking to be accepted by any family member. So to me, my job doesn't stop once I find their mother or their father. I'm still on a hunt until I can get them reunited with a family member that's willing to accept them.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it could be very traumatic for certain people. Then that you're saying. That's what you're saying. It could be traumatic.
Oh, definitely, it is. And I mean, a lot of them, they have fear just to be able to, you know, when sometimes I let them know, do you want me to reach out to them, or are you comfortable with doing it? For the ones that are comfortable, hey, go ahead, you know, just let me know how it turns out. But some of them is like, they literally have anxiety just in dialing the numbers. And they're like, okay, I can't do it. I thought I could, but I can't. Or the thing that I hear the most is I have a knot in my stomach when I try to dial the numbers. So for a lot of them, it's not just, you know, you just do away with it the next day. They've been dealing with this for years. I mean, you hear a lot of them say, you know, every time I went to the supermarket, I always wondered if maybe my mother or my father was in the same supermarket, or what they look like. Like, imagine just living on this planet, not knowing where you come from, who you look like. Do you have any siblings? You don't even know your real name.
That's powerful.
All you know about yourself is your date of birth. Sometimes you don't even know your time of birth. All you know about is your date of birth and where you were born. So it's like, for most of them,
that's powerful.
Yeah, for most of them, just beginning a search, where would you search? Where do you begin?
Yes.
That's where we come in.
Okay. Do you have to get a mouth swab?
You know,
it's saliva. You know, I keep a kit just because a lot of people do ask. And I keep one just for that purpose.
You carry a kit?
I keep one, yes. I keep one. So this is an ancestry DNA kit, right? Let me make sure I'm opening the right one.
Hold it up again. Yeah, hold it up, yeah.
Oh.
Hold it up again. Yeah, there it is.
Yes,
okay, got it.
So this is what you get in the mail.
Yeah.
Now, when you open up the box, you get this card. This card comes with a serial number on the back.
Okay.
Anybody, if you try to activate it, it's not going to work. Each serial number is unique. No two serial numbers are the same. And in it gives you full instructions on how to do your sample. So then first you log on to Ancestry and you put that you have a DNA kit number. You would put this kit number in. Put any name. Like I always tell people, if you doubt, put your name as, you know, whatever name. Jane Doe, John Doe, whatever works for you. And then what you get is this along with your kit. And as you can see, the same sequence numbers is also on the DNA kit. Yes. So what happens is You would open the kit. These are 2 separate tubes. It comes with a little line, and it tells you, this comes separate as well. I wanted to put it on for. So you put this on, and you spit until the black line. Okay. Don't believe that the black line comes all the way down. It literally it literally comes right here.
Yeah.
You gotta fill it up.
No, it's not full. It's literally it starts right here.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
even though you're seeing all this, I'm not sure why, but it doesn't. So you see it.
I look nasty. That's why I look nasty.
Yeah, but I always tell people, because I've had a few people that tested and their samples failed, and I'm gonna tell you different reasons why samples can fail or not be a match to you.
Really?
But yeah, I always tell people the best sample is your morning breath.
Okay.
Because that is all of your DNA floating around in your mouth while you're sleeping. Okay. You go from, you take your tongue, go line, 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 and then spit. And keep doing that until you hit that black line, even if it's foam and all of that.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on. So you said the morning breath is when all your ancestors are floating up there.
Yes. That's when you usually connect with them while you're sleeping too. So
that's interesting. It's almost like a pregnancy test. The best one is in the morning.
Right.
Okay.
And then what you do is you're gonna take this off, and then you have this little liquid solution. You're gonna put that on and snap it closed. Once you snap it closed, shake it for about 5 seconds. I kind of tell people you probably.
She fell off. I don't know what happened. Hold on. She fell off. I don't know what happened. She just disconnected. Oh my gosh. I hope she come back in. Hey, share the video. Remember, if you want to contact our sister Leah Lee, please contact her at www.birthfamilysearch.org, and you can send a PayPal donation. Okay, she's coming back up. Remember, the website is okay. Let's make sure she's
so sensitive. My computer is so sensitive. I literally just sat this thing down and it went off. Okay, and then what you're doing, you're gonna slide it in this little bag. You leave this in here. You leave that in there. You slide it in, you put it in this prepaid box, and you ship it off.
Okay.
And I always tell people, you wait 4 weeks and you will see your truth. Many times, a lot of people that I do help, aside from adoptees, are people who have taken an ancestry DNA test or 23andMe DNA test, and they're like, I'm matching somebody who I'm not familiar with. The father who I thought is my father, I'm not matching any of his family. And I'm like, well, the DNA just told you what you needed to know. So I guess you're contacting me because you want to know the truth. And
exactly,
a lot of people, they just want to know. I mean, most of them, they'll say, I don't, if he has other children and other families, I don't want to have a relationship. I just want to know who I am. I just want to see a picture of him. I want to know where I came from.
Right.
And that's the thing. Now, when I talk about DNA that might come up different, as crazy as it sounds, if you've ever received a blood transfusion, bone marrow transplant, I shouldn't say blood transfusion, bone marrow transplant, your DNA will become the donor's DNA. So,
what?
Yes.
Yo.
Yes. That person gave you a bone marrow.
Wow.
When you think about it, how much DNA does a bone marrow really hold?
Wow.
Exactly.
Right. So, I always tell people, if you're looking at your DNA, I always ask first, did anybody in your family do one? Did you do one? That's important information to know.
I guess that's why Jehovah's Witnesses don't want to do blood transfusion and all that kind of stuff either. And they don't want to do none of that. None of that. They'd rather you drop dead than do that.
Right. I mean, Would I do it? Yeah, I would. Just to live a little bit longer,
You would.
be around for my children. I would, you
Mhm.
know. But I always tell
Right.
people too, if you have the opportunity to test your family, test the oldest ones that's still living first.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
they'll be the ones that connect you all the way up to 10th cousins.
Mm. Okay.
I like
That makes
that.
sense.
That makes me want to do it. You
That
make me
makes
inspiring.
I
I feel like I'm inspired.
mean, I'm one of those type of people, like people think I'm crazy, but I'm like Christmas time or any type of gifts, oh, you're getting a DNA kit and you're gonna keep getting one until you get the point.
That
So
that,
I'm
never
just like,
happened before. That's amazing. I think
yeah. I mean, luckily for me, I was able to test my husband's great aunt before she passed.
wonderful.
So it's
mm,
amazing just to have people, and I mean, I have people that reach out to me and they're like, I see that I'm connected to you, but how? I built his whole family tree, so
mm,
I'm able to share their family tree with them to say, this is how you're related to him. This is how you're related to
mm.
me. You know, that's the amazing part.
Wow. No, no, no. Let me ask you now. There's a lot of people out there that claim different heritage and claim different bloodlines, whether they're religious, following religious bloodlines and all that. When you've done these type of people, let's say, might be, Hebrew Israelites, or it might be, certain people that say they're from this tribe of Judah or this tribe of, has that ever come out in any of these DNA testings?
I'll say when it comes to 23andMe, from what I see, they gear more towards health. So they'll say,
Okay.
you have or people in your DNA type are more likely to drink coffee than people with different types. But all of that is based on surveys done by people who are all matching the same DNA or the same strands of DNA.
Mhm.
As
Right.
far as a lot
Right.
of people who say, oh, well, my family is from, like, my ancestry comes back saying that I'm from Nigeria. But Ancestry, a
Okay.
few years ago, what they did was they went into these different tribes and started testing people. And so when you come
Mm.
up as a match to a particular, or like my husband, he comes up as Cameroon. So when you test these different,
Mm.
they literally went out into these different tribes. And believe me, they update regularly, which means that they continuously test more and more tribes. They're going into the Amazons and they're going up to different parts of, Asia and pretty much all the continents, and they're testing people just to see
Mm.
how far they're able to get and how close they're able to pinpoint a person's ancestors to where they're originally from.
Mm. So would you say that would you say now are these consensual testing, or are they just testing, just going there and just taking the test?
That I don't know.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I don't know. Thank you very much. Thank you for
I
saying
don't
that.
know.
That we don't
Yeah.
know. We don't know.
No, I
Okay, because
don't know.
I know a lot of they do a lot of vaccinations in these places and take blood and do all that and claiming
Right,
that they're trying to help. And
right.
with the missionaries, there's always the military right next to them. So, all right, let's not go
True,
there. Let's not go into that.
true.
That could be a little crazy. So, but I am. If people want to contact you, and you say you only use, like, you do a lot of just donation. Your more donation orientated. But how does that
Yes.
work for you and work for your company or your organization? Please, how does that work?
So, originally when I
Mhm.
started, I was giving people DNA kits, paying for it out of my own pocket. I mean, it didn't matter. And somebody said, Leah, you're doing a great job with this. Your clientele is starting to grow. A lot of them were word by mouth and still is. Why don't you look into starting a nonprofit organization? And I'm like,
Mm.
it took me some years, but I decided to jump on it and do it. So now I'm currently a 501c3 nonprofit organization. 100% of our donations does go to helping adoptees who cannot afford DNA kits to be able to test them to reunite them to their biological families.
Mm, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you're doing that type of work for our
Oh yeah,
people as
we
much
don't.
as and
No, we don't take
so
any admin fees and all of that. 100% goes into buying DNA kits. And I always
Okay,
tell
good.
people, if you don't want to donate money, you can also forward a DNA kit. So you can just purchase DNA and we forward it to the right person or the person in need of a kit. Because you do have people, even though to us it might be, oh, $100 is nothing. But to somebody, they have 5 kids that they can't feed, and getting $100 is hard to come by. You know?
Right. That's true. That's true. Do you have any questions, Aisha? Go ahead. Please give. You have any questions?
So I know you said you answered this for the most part, but I just like someone who don't know who their father is. You can help them find their father. Is that
I do. Yes.
And their mother. And okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Regular people. So I mean, and I'm not being. Majority of my clients are people who are like, I've never met my father. I mean, I literally just closed a case 2 days ago for a female who like, I don't know my father and I don't know where he's from. You know, my mother doesn't want to tell me anything. I find those a lot. And I'm like, mothers, please tell your children, at least give them a name, something, you know. But luckily for her, I was able to find out who her biological father was. And luckily for her, he's still alive and willing to have a relationship with her. You know, because you do find the men who are like, oh, well, I'm remarried and, you know, just keep it quiet. You know, like I'll speak to you here and there, but you know, you have to consider my family too.
Do you recommend consultation?
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Recommend consultation? Do you all counsel them prior to?
We just started having it where they can actually talk to someone in advance, because I mean, I didn't realize later on that a lot of them, I knew that some of them have issues, but I never knew how deep some of their issues were. And they needed somebody outside to actually, a therapist, somebody to just talk to, you know, because a lot of them is painful for them.
That's good. That's good.
Now, being that you do consult people and do those type of consultations, how back do the bloodline goes? Does it go 2,000 years? Does it go back over 3,000, 5,000 years? How far back can and they're finding that?
How far back can the DNA go, or family trees?
The DNA go. The DNA.
With DNA, you don't actually
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you don't. I wouldn't say you get a time period. I mean, you can look on Ancestry and it'll say, you know, your DNA go back to 1600s, 1700s, you know. But I always tell people, I've bumped into people who figured out how they're related with just something as small as 7 centimorgans, you know, which is pretty far. You're going up 8 ancestors above you, you know. But of course, it takes a lot of research. And like I always tell people, for, you know, a lot of African Americans, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, and part of the reasons why I really started helping adoptees as well, because I've always seen search angels not take cases for African Americans, because they always said it's harder.
Okay.
Which it is, because it's less records. I mean, you know, information is not correct. I mean, and most of the time I can work on a white person's case and I can find out their ancestors real quick because their census is correct, their directories information is correct, their birth and death information is correct. But when it comes to us, you might get somebody's grandmother and there's no father's name on it, on their birth certificate or even their death certificate. So that's when you know, once I hit a roadblock, I always recommend DNA tests, because sometimes one of your distant cousins might be able to connect that puzzle for you.
Okay, that's good. Now, do you suggest that they go? Do you suggest that they take the mother's side and the father's side when it comes to DNA and looking up the tree, dealing with the tree?
Now the crazy thing is, when you do Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, you're getting both sides of your family. You're not just getting just your mother or just your father's side. It's autosomal DNA. So you're getting both sides of your DNA. So when you start looking at your matches, it will be matches from your mother's side and matches from your father's side. Of course, it's a lot easier if you test one of your parents because you're able to filter those DNA matches a lot better.
Okay. Okay. So that okay. So but at least there's a few. I know I did African ancestry, and they was only promoting the mother's side, so to speak,
Right.
and
The
the father's
mitochondrial
side.
DNA.
The
Right.
different prices for those different things. And
Yeah.
one side told me that I was started in Africa and went through Europe and then went through the Caribbean. So I went all over the place. My family.
Wow. Wow.
It looked like we was conquering.
Right. Right. They were on a mission. They were on a mission. That's for sure. I mean,
Definitely.
I always tell people do whichever kit you're most comfortable with, but do your research.
Mm, Any
I get a
questions,
lot of people.
Empress? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm not doing that because they share my information. Double
Yeah.
check that because they don't. That's why I mentioned GEDmatch in the beginning. They share your information because it's an open platform. I mean, people have taken ancestry to court and have lost because, you sign a waiver saying that your information is private and that they can't share it to any third-party companies.
That's right.
So you upload to GEDmatch, it's a free-for-all.
You know what?
Wow.
I'm curious, like when they share it, what's the purpose of them sharing it? Like, are they sharing it to create another, to expand your DNA? That like, are they they experimenting, or just
with
like science labs to do certain other like
a lot? I know.
What is this third party? What are concerns being third party?
Right. I get a lot of people who are like, oh, well, they're sharing our information to insurance companies and they're sharing it to medical companies and things like that. I mean, for me, I haven't found my insurance, skyrocketed since I've gotten ancestry tests. So I can't, say that that's true. I guess, I don't know. I guess for some people, maybe that's their excuse as to why they don't want to do it. But
Right.
and I tell everybody flat out, GEDmatch, you're uploading it to an open platform.
Okay, got it.
Those that want to contact our sister and find someone in your family, or someone that don't know who their mom or dad is or their great grandmama is, please contact Miss Leah Lee. And that's a tongue twister. Leah Lee. But please contact our sister Leah Lee and send a love gift. You can send a love gift donation to her website through her website at www.birthfamilysearch.org or PayPal. That's admin@birthfamilysearch.org. And IG, you can hit up on IG. That's birth_family_search, or FB at birthfamilysearch. The search angel. And I noticed y'all call yourself the search angels. What are the search angels? Is it like Charlie's Angel?
Search angels is literally as it sounds. So you have people who reach out to you or you reach out to them because they're in search, they're looking for someone. And I mean, I always tell people, I'll say 90% of the time, I find people that don't want to be found. Or people that think that they're under the radar, I can find you. Believe that. So a lot of the information that search angels offer them is mostly we build their family tree based off of their DNA matches. And that's how we're able to locate who their biological families are. So I might have an adoptee that test or someone who does not know who their biological father is. The mother, let's just say, for example, is telling this child, your father is John Smith. But she takes this DNA test and I see nothing but Thomas last names under. And I'm always upfront and honest with them. And I'm like, your mother might have, not told you all of the truth. This is who your biological father is. I'm going to build your family tree and show you why I have come up with this, the answers to this, as well as giving you documents to show proof as to how you're related to this family. So a lot of times you you get people who are like, well, how do I know that this is true? I'm like, your DNA is right there. And I always tell people, order your DNA kit this way. You don't assume that I'm tampering with it. And then just add me onto your account and I'll do my research from there. I mean, I have found people without DNA. Somebody, they're like, okay, this is who I think my father is. This is who my mother told me his name is. Okay, let me see what I can find without DNA first. I start searching. I mean, sometimes I'm on my computer 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and still got to get up at 5, but sometimes it's like, you're always to that point where you just can't stop. It just keeps calling for you to just keep going. Like you just that close to the answers, and like I always tell them, I'm never the type to give up or quit. So it might take me 5 years, but I'm going to have the answers that you're looking for.
So you do. And I did ask you this off of on our phone conversation. How about those that are living in the Caribbean and England? Where do you search? Where would you suggest them to do? How would you suggest them to do this if they wanted to find out more about their family? I got a lot of people that watches me from the Caribbean, from other overseas. So how would they do it, please?
They can also order DNA kits on Ancestry as well. And I always tell people, sometimes, depending on where they're from, like I've found, records for St. Croix, I found records for Jamaica, for Trinidad, but like certain islands, their records are not indexed. And so sometimes you have to go to that country and go to the archives office and pull those records yourself. I mean, these days, everybody have a cell phone. Take a photocopy of it if you can, because sometimes they'll tell you can't take a photostat copy or you have to pay for a copy. Sometimes the records are so old, they'll tell you that you can't take a photo of it. They handle it with gloves and things like that, depending on how old the records are. But yeah, it's records out there. And like I always tell people too, a lot of, people have kept records of their ancestral line in old Bibles.
Really?
Oh yeah. A lot. Let me tell you, and I always tell people this, you might go to a thrift store and get a Bible and you'll see a whole family tree inside of that Bible.
I have an old Bible like that. I did get an old Bible, and it did have somebody else's family.
Upload it for whoever it is to have. They got a group on Facebook where you can upload old Bible family trees, so that should that person's generations ever look for something, they can find it.
I'm going to go look in my boxes of different Bibles. Because when I used to study, back in the days in the 80s, from that community, I used to have a lot of Bibles from Hebrew, Arabic, all kinds of stuff. So I have a whole lot of old Bibles, I mean, one thing I can say, they did implore us to study, what I'm saying? They wanted us to read. So I could definitely attest to that. So, but that's powerful. Did you have a question, Sister Aisha, Empress?
Yeah, I see her brains are spinning.
Exactly.
Also, I know you said this already. I'm asking this like repetitive questions. Okay, so if your father has children, or if you want to know if your father have other children, you can you, like, if you want to find other siblings, let's put it that way.
Yes.
You can do that. Like, it doesn't matter who you're searching for. Cousins, it doesn't matter, right?
It does, most people, they come in and they're like, my mother might be dead, but even if I can find siblings, and yeah, we have found siblings, for a lot of adoptees, I always tell them, you can always request, depending on what state you were born, you can request non-identifying information. The non-identifying information is something that they'll mail out to the adoptees, and they'll say, your mother was 5'8", she weighed 136 pounds, she was not married, her mother was 96 years old at the time of your birth. They focus on you and everything about you, but anything else, as far as her name, where she's from, they don't share that information. So a lot of times those are exciting puzzle pieces for me. So a lot of times I'm going in the city where that person was born. I'm searching documents. I'm searching obituaries. I'm looking for other siblings who might have been around the same ages. And that's usually how I come with my answers. But if your father had other children, siblings, and someone, say one of their children might have tested, chances are they will come up as a match to you. And most of the time, that's how you pretty much get your answer. They'll say, hey, I see you're a close match to me. How are we related? And based on, I mean, usually I always tell people, I can look at that DNA number and say, hey, this is a cousin of your parent, or this is your half aunt, this is your full aunt, this is your grandmother. Based on those numbers, you can tell.
Have you ran into any incest?
Oh, yes. That was a case that I had about 3 weeks ago. And
whoa.
When I tell you, it was an interesting case. I mean, yikes.
I mean, if you can talk about it, I understand, because I know this is a public.
I can talk about it. Of course, I never mentioned names.
Of course.
In this case, she reached out to me looking for her biological parents. She was an adopted, had a good life. Her adopted parents, they gave her a good life. But of course, you're always looking for those answers, who you look like, things like that. Yeah. I want to say I cracked her case. Okay, first she gave me access to her DNA. And I'm looking at her DNA and I'm like, I'm filtering, and everybody I'm filtering is all down the line. Usually when I filter, I'm usually filtering one side. I back out of the system. I go back in. I filter the father side with a blue dot. Mother's is usually a pink dot. But as I'm filtering, everybody down the line, past third cousins, were all a pink dot. And so I had to contact her and let her know, I don't know your story, but this is what I found. So once I spoke to her and found a close relative of hers, they confirmed that she was a product of rape. Her mother's brother raped her, and that's how she was born.
Wow. And how did she feel? What was her reaction?
She was hurt. She was hurt by it.
Right.
Unfortunately, her mother has not come forward to say that she wanted a relationship with her yet. It's been 2 weeks now. And like I always tell them, you still have other options. If you want, she wants to be accepted by her mother. So she's trying to, buy it time before she tries to reach out to her father, who I think her father hasn't seen that side of the family since the whole incident happened. So she wants to have a relationship with her family, but the hardest part is, who do I go to? The families are separated. If I go to my father, then my mother's not going to want to deal with me. If I go to my mother, my father's not going to deal with me. So it's like the family's separated. But yeah, I've seen that, and I've also dealt with cases where they were Mormons or Amish. They were one of them. But it just seems like it was a twist because everybody was related. They were from a small town in Idaho, and they were all related. Everybody was related. It was like, as I started working on a tree, I'm looking at the lines, and the lines are crisscrossing each other to the point where I had to stop. I had to disconnect certain parents from each other just so that it can all make sense. Because sometimes when you see like multiple family members, they'll come up on a tree twice.
Right.
So yeah. So I have to disconnect the parent and then work my way back down, because the tree just looked confused with a bunch of crossed lines.
Wow, that's deep. That is so deep, man. And how did that work out? How was their reaction and response to a lot of this?
Well, she already knew from her mother that her family was Mormons. She kind of knew that everybody would be related as well. So it was just a matter of finding her cousin. Once I found the cousin, I reached out to her, asked her if she was willing to do a DNA test, and she did. Luckily for her, Then the DNA test came back that this person was a second cousin, not the thing is, the further you are from your match, you want to try to get as close as possible. So what I do is I'll work on, say, great grandparents, work my way down.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Right.
say, for example, I start doing a process of elimination. So I always say military men, they're usually my first pick, and I'm usually right. And then, depending on where they lived at the time. So if the father was not living in a particular state, I can take him out. And then I work my way back down, and then I start testing people on that same line as that adoptee. And then I either get a sibling match, an aunt match, or a cousin match. And then once I get one of those, I start testing for someone closer until we get that sibling match or parent match.
Wow. I mean, you go into a lot with this stuff. I mean, look, I'm proud of you because I've known you for so long. I've known your moms and dad and everybody. I've known you for so long. I'm just so proud of what you're doing and how. And I'm glad that you're helping families.
Yeah, I love it. You know, the thing is, it's one thing when you're doing something for whatever reason for, you know, it paying, but I just recently started taking a forensic genealogy course. So with this one, it would be me identifying Jane and John Doe's. And I am like I'm happy about it because that would be me helping people on the other side, you know. I'm just, I don't know. I'm willing to take it as far as it goes, really.
Well,
and this is still new territory.
Go ahead. Yes, it is. It is. It's new territory. I have a few friends that is taking forensic that went through school for forensic science and all that stuff.
Right.
And you know, some of them don't make it. Some of them go right into nursing or something.
Right.
It's a real interesting science. There's a lot you got to learn. You know.
Right.
You know. But I'm seeing something in you is piquing your interest, and that's good. And if it's piquing your interest, go for it. Because you got some great things to do in this world for it, you know.
Exactly.
I'm happy.
You glow with this.
Yes. I mean, I love just being able to explain it to people, you know, because a lot of people have a misunderstanding about DNA and how it works. And majority of the people are the Black communities.
Yes.
You know, most of them, I'm not doing that. Why would I want to share my DNA? And it's like, you're missing a big part of the picture. You know, the thing is, where are you from? And you ask most people, they'll give you a town of where they're from.
Yes.
Where are you from? I'm from Brooklyn, New York. No, where are you really from?
Yes.
Most people can't answer that. Or even if I ask them, where's your family from in the early 1800s?
Okay.
How many people can answer that? You know, we staying within the United States at this point. Where are your ancestors from in the early 1800s?
Wow, that's true. That's true. That's true. I know. I have my great grandfather. I have him on my altar, so I know where he stands from 1800s. Which is it's from Jamaica, and so and my grandfather was born in 1909, so they was just coming out of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, they've seen a lot, you know.
Oh yeah, they've seen a lot. Well, you know, any questions you got, Empress? You want to give any questions before we let our sister go? Because I know she has a busy schedule.
I don't know.
No.
Not right this second. Not right. I'm just happy that you're doing this. That's what I wanted to say. Like, I'm really happy that you're doing this because you feel like a trustworthy, I could feel like I can trust you. You know, like I know that you're not going to try. It's like you it's kind of like you're like your ancestors that you have on the wall. Like you freeing people.
Yes.
Like you're doing it way, like you're taking us out of one form of slavery, and you liberating us and taking us to another. You know, like you. Now, it's deep like that. Like it's so.
That's a whole nother topic because you'll find that most of your ancestors were not slaves.
You see that thinking?
And see, I always tell people, you find majority, a lot of people, Virginia, North and South Carolina, areas like that. And I always tell people, a lot of people, when you research your census records for your ancestors, if you see them living in a house with family members, they're listed as servants, but their family member owned them just so that they wouldn't be sold to us as a slave to a stranger or, you know, the plantation owners. So they had them living with them, and they was considered a servant or a maid or whatever, but they were related and they weren't slaves.
Wow.
Wait till you write them. Make a movie.
That's the same thing he said.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you know, well, sister, do you suggest other people get down with this type of stuff? Would you suggest other folks, our people, get down and volunteer or work for organizations like you, please?
Right. I always tell people, you know, for me, it started off as just me being young and just loving puzzles. Like I can probably do a 1,000 piece of puzzle in a day, literally. I mean, and it could be just basic color, all one color, and I'm able to just put them together. And I think that's probably part of why I am so into what I do, because for one, I don't stop until that puzzle's complete. And so that's how I kind of take a lot of my cases. It's like, you know, a lot of times I have floating trees in a person's, you know, account. And then once I start putting the trees together, it's as if it's all making sense. You know, and so some people, they'll look and they'll say, well, you have like 5 different trees under my account. And I'm like, but they're all related to you, and you will see the tree soon. You know, I'm just like, this is a passion for me. And I tell people, if you have a passion for something like this, start getting into it early.
Yes.
Because forensic genealogy just started. Like I think the Golden State Killer case I believe he was one of the first. They just solved that case about 3 years ago. So that's to tell you how untouched that territory is. There's so many DNA samples just sitting in a lot of these, you know, local or even, you know, federal bureaus, and they just don't have the funds to test it, or they don't have somebody like me to just come in and say, hey, I might be able to help you solve some of these cases.
Wow. Well, family, you know, it's time for people to step it up and go ahead and join this type of movement, you know, because this is all about, and especially if it's coming from, it is the future. It's the future, yes. Because I see people like Miss Cooper. I checked her out, and she does something similar too. I know Miss first. I seen on television, and that's very important that people, and they found a lot of killers. They found a lot of DNA samples in the forest or in certain places. I'm still wondering if they could find Jimmy Hoffa's body. I don't know if they could do that.
Let me tell you. By way of DNA, eventually it's probably going to come. If he's buried somewhere, they will find him.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is just, believe me, somebody in his family has already tested, whether it's his great-grandchild, whatever. All they have to do is just start matching the DNA to people, and they'll have the answers that they're looking for. And I always tell people, you know, for the people, oh, I don't want them to have my DNA. Anytime you drink something from a bottle like this and you put it in the trash, they have your DNA. It's easy just to match those two together. And I mean, we're looking at it like saliva at this point. In a couple of years, it might be hair samples. It might be, you know, you blowing your nose in a tissue. You know, this can go pretty far. You leave DNA samples when you scratch your skin. You know, you're shedding skin. You're shedding DNA. And that's the part a lot of people don't see. So when they sit up there and they're like, I don't want to share my DNA, I laugh at them because I'm just like, you have no clue.
Oh, maybe I want to throw my water bottles away now. I'm just going.
But where would you put it? Burn it?
Yes, I'm
Where would you put it?
That is so.
That's where recyclable trash coming at.
Okay, then. There we go. It's so basically it's like no way around it.
No.
Not
And in the future, it definitely won't be a way around it. But I mean, like I always tell people, even with GEDmatch, let's just say, for example, you might have had a cousin that was murdered, you know, and maybe they just didn't know who that person is, you know, maybe somebody, who knows? Your DNA might be able to help them solve that case. And finally, you know, you might have that cousin, you be like, oh, he just moved down south and we never heard from him again. Sometimes those are missing person cases that nobody knows who they are.
Wow.
So how do you get involved in this? I'm sorry, Keith, forgive me. How do you get involved? Like, if someone wants to start out, what is the first thing that you would recommend they do?
Like, depends on if they're just looking for somebody or if they're willing to connect with distant family members.
No, like not like that. Like if someone wants to get to do what you do, how do they get started?
I'm one of those people. I always tell people I'm always happy to teach people how to do this. It's a process, but I'm always happy. I mean, the thing is, it's more about researching than anything. And I think for me, it's so easy for me because I started off when, you know, Ancestry didn't even have DNA kits. You know, I was just building family trees just based off of information. And it became easy. But I always tell people, eventually I would like to get to the point where I'm doing tutorials to show people how to do it, how to filter their DNAs, and just to be able to help themselves. Because sometimes people are pretty private. You know, they might say, oh, I don't want you to see who my family are. Well, let me just show you how to filter your DNA so you can figure out which side belongs to which. You know, and then you have people whose families just don't want to share them. They don't want to share no information with them.
That's pretty deep. I know she used to say I used to wonder, like, Mom, what's your side of the family? I didn't know Mama's side. Like, what's your side? What are they? Tell me more. She's like, I don't know them. I don't want to know them. I'm like,
right. That's what a lot of the elders say.
That like they for some reason, I don't know where that fear came from.
Right.
It was like, for some reason, she did not want to know.
Yeah.
Now she's singing a different tune, but back then it was like, I used to wonder, like, because she used to always tell me, you know, study your history, learn your history, books about, you know, the culture. So I was like, okay. And then as I'm doing it, I start to wonder about my family. I'm like, okay, well, what about us? And that's all about us. I'm like, okay.
Well, the interesting thing is now in most high schools, this is a course that they give them now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I had my niece, she reached out to me out of the blue and said, hey, you know, I heard that you're the family genealogist. I need access to our family tree. And I'm like, okay, this is so random. And she was like, well, this is I have to get this for a grade in school. I thought that was interesting. Wow. Okay. And I'm always happy to share that. So I'm just like, you know, just a fine, you know.
Never knew that. I don't know. Why would they take that in school? Like, but that's
they
do that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I think in high school. Yeah. Because she graduated right after.
Well, she was
that was
some type of science school.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, back then we didn't have that as an option, you know.
Yeah, this is so.
Yeah.
This is very honorable work that you're doing. Like, I really
thank you.
Like, you really freeing minds. Like, you're freeing people up. Like, you're just taking a burden, and even if some of it is painful, but once they get through the pain, I know that they feel more liberated in their existence. And that is
right. And I was gonna say too, a lot of it, you find a lot of, you know, African Americans are now tapping more into their spirituality. So a lot of them, they want to know who their ancestors are, or, you know, if they even following the right path, you know, things like that. And so to me, it's important. It has a deeper meaning than just knowing where you're from. You want to know who your ancestors are, and, you know, things like that is very important, you know, just to know what tribe. And I always find it seems like just about every African American in America always say, oh, I'm Cherokee.
I know.
And you know what I tell them? There's over 160 different tribes of Native Americans. Know which one you're really from, because not everybody was Cherokee.
Yes. That's my family. There we go. I'm like, I don't want to be Cherokee. Though. I'm like, what about the rest?
Right, right. They forget the other ones. I mean, you got so many different tribes.
Yeah,
None of them matter. It's Cherokee in our hair, you know, because we're Cherokee.
I heard that all my childhood. Look at me. Look at my. Look at that wave.
Right, right, right.
Well, my sister, I want to thank you very much for being a part with us, and I want to thank everybody for
you having me.
Oh, you know, your family, girl. You gotta stop playing. And remember, if you want to contact our sister, please send a love gift donation. And go ahead.
I was going to say too, you also get a donation receipt for your taxes when you donate. We are an official 501c3 company, so that's a tax write-off. So make sure you have that when you're filing your taxes.
Ooh, go ahead, teach them. Let's make sure they know the website, www.birthfamilysearch.org. And of course, PayPal admin, if you want to send donation, admin at birthfamilysearch.org, IG birth_family_search, and FB, of course, Facebook, that's Birth Family Search. She's a search angel. She's a part of the King Simon Experience, or KSP, with myself and Empress, Aisha Amor. Let's give her a round of applause, of course. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful. And tell your husband and the children, send my love and greetings to your husband and your children also.
I definitely will. She spends a lot of time with grandma, so that's why my background was peaceful and quiet. So she spends a lot of time with grandma, which is a blessing. I'm like, spend as much time as you can while she's around.
Exactly. All right. Well, take care of you, sister. I know you can be safe. All right.
Thank you. You too. I appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Leah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace. That was our beautiful sister. I hope we all enjoyed it. Did you enjoy yourself, my dear? Did you enjoy yourself?
Who are you talking to me? Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, of course. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know, though, very interesting, man. Very interesting what people are doing nowadays. Especially with genetic genealogy and all that, you know, and you can scratch your skin and your genes falling all over the floor. You'll find your genes somewhere, and they're not blue genes either. They're straight up genes. Yeah, so you definitely gave us some good. I'm glad that you dropped some good questions on her, and it was definitely informative. We had a good time with her. Once again, please go to her website, www.birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. Wherever you may be on this earth, she can do some consultation too. You can email her at admin@birthfamilysearch.org, or you can send a donation to the family also, or hit her up on IG or FB, Facebook, you know. Woo, man. Especially that part about incest. That is something else, man.
That was an unexpected one.
Yeah, that got deep. That got deep because I know that could be emotional. You know, that's very emotional. Very emotional.
I definitely would make sure I meditate or anything before I do any type of testing for my DNA.
Right.
Because you know, our people went through a lot. We was forced to do things we didn't want to do, as far as, you know, being intimate with family members during those times.
That's true. That's what.
If something, you know, it was just something that our people was forced to do.
That's right.
You know, so we don't.
Like Dick Gregory and Dick Gregory and many elders used to say, that's where that word mother effer came from. You know, the young men had to have sex with their own mothers. You know, that's some crazy stuff back in the day. So, you know, well, I'm glad that we're still healing. All of us are still healing. Those out there that are watching, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us. It is now 10:04 in New York, or 4 minutes after the hour, all over the world. Aisha, do you have anything special you want to say to the people? I got your promotion right here in front.
Oh yes, but you know, just back to the genealogy. I was just thinking, I was just most impressed with the fact that she said she could tap into her ancestors,
Yes.
speak to them, and knowing who she speak to. To me, that was the most impressive of all. It's like you never would think of genealogy like that. You just think that you're just going to know who's who as far as, you know, bloodline, but you don't know that to know that you can connect with them.
Right.
That's another thing. That was touching to me.
Yes, yes, yes.
But that's all I had to say. I loved it. This Sister Leah Lee, you rock. I love you, and I hope more of us would just, you know, take a chance and just get you know, see what's in us, see who's in us, see who's trying to, you know, connect with us or who we are connected with. I love it. Thank you, King Simon. This was really, really, really great.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Remember, people, if you want to for spiritual upliftment and self-esteem consultation with Empress Aisha Amor, please email her at Empress Aisha Amor at Gmail. And for her products, you can check out her IG, DM her at IG at Wamillion _ adornments. Now, that name Wamillion, where did you get that from? Why did you come up with a name called Wamillion?
That's a very interesting one because I was coming up with women, and I was really on a page where how can I bring together a sisterhood that's so expansive, like just a million sisters, like that can we just come together on one platform. So what million is women and million put together, you know, I also remember Farrakhan and how he did the Million Man March. So for some reason, when I was thinking about getting a million women together, sisters as a sisterhood, not just come together, but as a sisterhood, as a network that we can just expand. And then I would love to see 1 Million Adornment be a platform for women to come to and have their products on there. Not just my products, but, you know, all of our products, and just build something greater. Let's just build systems. That's how I was feeling. You know, I feel like when the women get themselves together, you know, the world will be a better place. You know, I believe that. I believe that because we the one that's supposed to keep that. You know, I'm kind of traditional. I feel like women, we're supposed to keep our homes clean. We're supposed to keep our neighborhoods clean, and we're supposed to, you know, we this is our house. The earth is our home. You know, so we get together and we clean it up out here. We tweak it up. We do what we got to do. But not one of us can do it alone. We got to come together.
Right.
So that came from, you know, just
well, you know, family, you make sure you send us some Cash App love. That's $ Empress Amor. PayPal, you could hit her up at Aisha McBride at gmail.com. And just remember, family, you know, that this is a new co-host here. Now you gotta show us some love and give us some thumbs up. Give her that #1 energy in the chat. And we're gonna give her a round of applause, of course, for being a part of the journey.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it. This is great.
And yeah, I pay for these people. I pay for all those people that's doing the applause. I pay them each $1 a piece. They deserve it. They deserve it. And we got coming up next, my dear. We got, of course, this coming Sunday at 1 p.m. Dr. Iris Latham, the Sunfire Food master and linguist. And also on Wednesday, August the 12th, 9 p.m., we got Asir, the Duke of Tears, and his beautiful wife, Selena, the Empress of 10,000 years. And on Sunday, August the 16th, we have educator / comedian, my brother, Robert Sinclair, the one they call Sync, Comedian Sync. He's been on Apollo. He's done all the major rooms up and down the East Coast, West Coast. So my brother, the comedian, and he knew me for a long time. Him and my older cousins used to play basketball together. So I said, you know what? Let me call some of the comedian friends and see if I could bring. I got some more surprise guests I got coming up. So y'all gonna be surprised with a few other comedians that I got coming up. So I used to be in that world, and I used to book a lot of comedians back in the day. So it is what it is. You know, I still got my Rolodex. That's a whole ass Rolodex, whole ass Rolodex. People, if you want to show, if you please, family, just want to let everybody know before we get off. Please, please share, like, subscribe to King Simon Presents on YouTube. Also, I do have a Patreon page. That's patreon.com, King Simon Productions. KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com is the website. KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Sign up on my site and receive a free gift via email, but you have to send me your email and your birthday, and I'll send you a free motivational meditative gift if you sign up on my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. And if you want to show me some Cash App love, guess what? You can always, this is what it is. Connect with your brother on FB at King Simon and IG at King Simon Production, and that's Twitter. Also at King Simon Prod, Cash App, King Simon 3158, and PayPal at King Simon, at paypal.me/King Simon. That's paypal.me/King Simon. You know what I'm saying? All right, my dear. Thank you very much for being a part of the journey, and we will talk on the other side. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. You be safe, and I'm gonna close out with the music and all the sponsors that we have. All right?
Peace and love to everyone. Yes.
All right. Peace and love. Take care. That's our dear Empress Aisha in the building. Empress Aisha Amor in the building. Want to thank her for even coming through and being a part of this great journey that we're doing. And I loved her family supporting her and everything that she's doing also. And let's get on out of here with some of these banners. Going to big up some of the sponsors again. Once again, make sure you check out. Remember, content disclaimer: views, comments, and opinions expressed by guests, speakers, or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. And this is a parental guidance is advised and all my stuff. Also, if you want to get some nice natural herbal products for you sisters, the womb, breasts, fibroids, cysts, all that, this is the place to go. Pedalwise.com. That's pedalwise.com. And you can save right now if you put in this code. That 10% code is, the coupon code is King 2020, and that's King 2020. Go to pedalwise.com. That's pedalwise.com. Even brothers that care about their women, if you care about your sisters, go to pedalwise.com and show them some love, and they got the love for you. Also, we have our beautiful sister Janelle. If you want to find out anything about buying real estate throughout the tri-state area, or renting an apartment, getting property, getting commercial property, Airbnb, condo, this is the person to call. Her name is Janelle Lewis. 347-866-1153. That's 347-866-1153. Tell her King Simon recommended her because of her beauty, but her great attitude that she has amongst the people. All right? Got to show her that love. And if you want to book a Numerovation session for me, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. If you want to get my book, remember, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated on Amazon and Kindle. Numbers Are Simple, Our Children's Health is Important on Amazon and Kindle. And No Promotion is Bad Promotion on Amazon and Kindle. And once again, if you want to book a consultation session with the great Empress Amor, please make sure you hit her up. She is an upliftment and self-esteem consultant, and she can do it for you if you hit her up via email. That's Empress Aisha Amor at gmail.com. That's Empress Aisha Amor at gmail.com. And like I said, you got her Cash App. That's Empress Amor, $ Empress Amor, and PayPal is Aisha McBride at gmail.com. Show her love, show her some love. And so as we're getting ready to get on out of here, we're going to close out with Dr. Delbert Blair's prayer as usual, family. And of course, we know what the prayer is. And then we're going to step right out of here with my song. And the prayer goes as such. The prayer goes as such. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. My family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. And in the immortal words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, up, you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. We love and respect you, we honor you, and we leave you with this song, Black and White Story, because it is our story and we have to control our narrative as usual. So please be safe, be healthy, be focused, get wealthy, and let's do what we got to do for our families. Peace.
Black and white story in a me mind. Say we have to analyze it. Me, I go tell you a little something more white history. Say all they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them, I telling of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. Then come out of the mountains and mix up with it. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, black, it's white, white. But let we tell the story. May I go tell you a little truth about the black history. So the people who can hear and those who can see, we're the first to come up with anatomy. To analyze the truth about the way body, we're the first to come up with biology. To analyze the lives in the society, we're the first to come up with Egyptology. To construct the pyramids that you see, we're the first to come up with psychology. To analyze the minds in the vicinity, we're the first to come up with musicology. To put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Black and white story in me mind. We say we have to analyze it. Black and white story in me mind, in me mind, in me mind. We black and white story in me mind. Say we have to analyze it. May I go tell you a little something more white history. Say all they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them, I tell enough of them history. Cause that is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come out of the mountains and mix up the sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, black, it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. May I will tell you a little truth about the black history. So the people who can hear and those who can see, we're the first to come up with anatomy. To analyze the truth about the way body, we're the first to come up with biology. To analyze the life in our society, we're the first to come up with Egyptology. To construct the pyramids that you see, we're the first to come up with psychology. To analyze the minds in the vicinity, we're the first to come up with musicology. To put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story.